It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbin Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiuchendo. Thanks a lot for joining us. January, which seemed like it would never come to an end, is finally coming to an end. It's our very last show in the month of January. A start to the year that's left a lot of Nigerians very uncertain with regards to what the year holds. Anybody who's paid attention to what's happening with the Naira, for one, understands that, you know, with all the forecasts and predictions that we've seen, means that things are even going to get a lot tougher in the months ahead. And of course, we've seen inflation figures, even though the Central Bank of Nigeria and its governor have made a lot of promises and given assurances as to what we should be expecting. Of course, on the side of security as well, things are even grimmer. You know, it's deaths in the hundreds across the country in just this month alone. And Mr. President is away from the country on a private visit to France. We don't know exactly what that means, but Nigerians continue to trudge on and hope that the government does their bit. But in all of this, there was a bit of smiles put on the faces of Nigerians, if I may use that word. Yesterday, I think a lot of Nigerians woke up today having one of their happiest Sundays in a very long time. The Super Eagles made us smile. And we're going to be starting our conversation today talking about the AFCON. And I'm joined here now by Frike Yang. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Long time no see. And Happy New Year.
Same to you.
You're smiling as well. It felt like for a few hours yesterday, Nigerians forgot all their problems, even though we can't seem to forget them. But yesterday was pretty, a lot of people have said it's probably our best game in years. It's the most cohesive we've seen Nigeria play. We had players playing for the team as against, you know, trying to exploit their individual sort of glory. Osimhen, of course, who has sort of been called out a few times in this tournament. Still without a goal, but for a lot of people was probably one of the best players on the field yesterday. How did you feel about our game yesterday?
You speak about our progress so far, you know, and you say that's the best game. For a long time, we've not enjoyed our football. We've not enjoyed the coaching of our players. You know, coming to the AFCON, we said that we had the best crop of players in Europe, the best strikers, you know, and then, of course, one of the front runners to win the trophy. But from the first game, there was now a disjointed performance from the team. The goals were not coming. You know, we drew that first game 1-1. We almost lost that game. Then we needed a penalty to see off the host Ivory Coast. We needed an own goal to see of Guinea-Bissau, which was basically the weakest team in the group. But what we saw yesterday is, I think, that little break they had between the group stage and that round of 16 game, they sat down. You know, there were 2 days of closed-door training. They looked at tactics. And it's very important to note that over the 4 games, Peseiro has moved from a 4-3-3 to a 3-4-3, which has given us a bit of defensive solidity. You know, even though our attack is still not clicking and we are still depending a bit of individual brilliance up there. But overall, yesterday's game, you could see that they were playing for the shirt, they were playing for the fans, and they were playing for themselves to make names. You know,
and I think the one thing that has been very instructive for me in this entire tournament is the coach himself, Jose Peseiro. A lot of us, myself included, you know, had a lot to say about just what the Super Eagles were starting to look like. You know, when the tournament started in our first game, people got wary again, and then he switched things up, and he's giving reasons why. You know, first of all, we lost people to injury, right? It would have been Boniface, maybe Osimhen, both up front. Now we don't have that option. Then, of course, secondly, like he said, what he had noticed since coaching the Eagles, when they go a goal down, the team just gets demoralized. So his plan now is to always score first and hold.
Yes.
But that is a very risky
game. Because we are getting to the business
You're getting to the business end. You're playing, our next game is against Angola, who have shipped 9 goals, who have scored 9 goals in this tournament. Yes. They're playing really good football. How does that hold against an Angola? Before we even start going as far as other games,
I mean, if we get past Angola, we are likely to meet Morocco. You know, so Peseiro has to find the balance between defense and attack, because as much as the defense is winning in this game so far, there are games where we are likely to concede first. And like he's talking about, like the mental capacity to come back from a goal down. He has to sort that out. You can't keep depending that all the way to the final. You're going to keep playing this type of football and, you know, nicking one goal here and sitting back and absorbing it. It helped yesterday that we're able to score 2 goals, you know, it was 3 VAR disallowed one. It helped that we are able to put the ball in the net. Do you understand? So after the dominance or the solidity, there's something to show up front. So moving forward, I especially think that Osimhen is coming into his own, is growing into the tournament. And from the Angola game, if he gets a couple of goals, upward and onwards.
Let's talk about Ademola Lookman for a bit there, because he was the MVP of the game yesterday, of course, by CAF standards. He scored a brace, both goals for Nigeria. And you could see that it looks like there was some understanding, at least yesterday, between him, Osimhen, and to an extent Moses Simon as well. And that's been the biggest criticism the team has gotten. We went into this tournament believing our attack was going to be deadly and the defense was a problem. Things switched up as soon as this tournament started. And, you know, what does this do for their confidence? And is this a sign of things to come? Or did we, like some people have said, play a weak team, which is Cameroon? And it's not a good yardstick.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think that any game, we're not exactly confident coming to that game. We must admit that. It was Cameroon, and then our goals from ages past resurfaced. We started talking about how many finals we've lost, how we're finally getting to beat them and everything. So it wasn't supposed to be a walk in the park. There's no Cameroon team you put out to face Nigeria. Even if it was Ghana, you can't say, oh, because we've been trolling them, oh, we are going to beat them 4-0. Ghana last 2 years, it was because of them we didn't go to the World Cup. They stopped us from going to the World Cup. So these rivalries can be very intense on those days. So you can't say we played a weak team. And I was especially happy for Ademola Lookman because it kind of justified his decision to pick Nigeria over England. In that moment, he felt completely Nigeria. I saw videos of him from the pitch to the dressing room. He was mobbed, and, you know, that is what a player lives for, you know. And in this tournament, like, you have the chance to make your name, to become a national hero. So I think that moving forward, we'll see more. We'll see more. Although I was very disappointed by Moses Simon, I think that our front three, because we were basically playing 2 wingers, 2 wing backs, and 1 striker. You know, I think that front 5 needs to gel more. But I believe that the game is on Thursday. I believe that, you know, before then they'll do on Friday.
Yeah, for February 2nd, I believe.
Okay. Yes. I think that before then they'll do more work on. And the thing about international football is that you take all these players from different systems, from different countries, playing different positions.
With so short a time to
exactly. So it's like, if they are able to grow into a team as the tournament progresses, you see better performance, and hopefully that will be the case against Angola.
Someone who has gotten a lot of flack, and I can see why, you know, to an extent, but the truth is he not the best midfield option we have right now? I'm talking about Alex Iwobi. You know, people have wondered, he trended yesterday on Twitter, on X, talking about, oh, he was, you know, giving away the ball here and there. But the truth is, it's literally him and Onyeka who are in that midfield, right? Because we don't have anybody else. Didi's out, you know, and our main Yusuf is injured. We have struggled with our midfield for a couple of years now, which is one of the reasons why our formation had to change. Is he as bad as he's made out to be? Or is the team just too good, or the rest of the players, that he now looks like the one who's maybe sort of the odd one out? Because I didn't think he had a terrible game yesterday.
He did not, but I think the expectations we've come to have to expect from Iwobi are just high up there. For somebody that's played for Arsenal and played for several Premier League clubs at the highest level, so to speak. And
then there's the Okocha burden.
Do you understand? That is Okocha's cousin, and so there is in our subconscious, there's a part of us that expect us to be, for him to be the next Okocha and to be our creative hub, which he is actually. But you talk about the injuries and the absentees in the midfield. Pesero has had to play in a deeper role, so he's controlling play from inside. But you could see his usefulness in the team in that second goal. There is nobody in that Super Eagles team that can give that pass to Calvin Bassey. So, you know, a lot of people on social media were like, take him out, bring this person out, bring that person out, you know. But in that moment where he needed calmness and quality and that penetrativeness, it was Iwobi that was able to produce it and seal the game. So yes, Iwobi has his flaws, his weaknesses, but I think that he's one of the better players in the Super Eagles squad that can produce a moment of magic or quality.
Yeah. Yes. One thing that also seems to be an interesting trait for this team so far is the talk about leadership. You know, we see it with Ekong a lot in the defense. You know, he's marshalling things. When the referee blows the whistle, he goes straight there to confront, to understand, you know, and protects his players. you always see him being very vocal. But you also see that with the seamen in front. You know, now sometimes at the touchline, when they go for their water breaks, he's almost giving instructions as well as the coach. But at the same time, the coach is speaking and everybody is listening. Then we also have Nwabali at the post, also giving instructions. So it looks like it's too much happening, but at the same time, they seem to understand, you know, each other. It's not a very common trait with the Super Eagles, having players that people are just sort of listening to. You know, I wonder where that shift happened, you think? And if it's a good thing, because it's working, I guess.
It is a good thing because when you see the way they celebrate goals, even I saw a picture of Ahmed Musa, who has not played a single minute at the AFCON, jumping on Iwobi and everything. And when they go for, like, say, a water breaks, that second goal, the entire bench came off. And, you know, it's the singleness of purpose.
Yeah.
It's the singleness of purpose. We are all playing for our country. We just want to win for our country, for our fans, for our families, for our careers. You know, so there's no selfishness, there's no ego tripping, there's no see me, I'm the star of the show. Everybody is contributing, you know, to make the country proud, to make the team win. So I think that is the best thing to see. You know, and we talk about leadership in football. Everybody must not be vocal. Whatever role you can play, if you need to carry the drinks, if you need to carry the kit, if you need to shout, if you need to run yourself into the ground like Osimhen, whatever you can bring to the team to make sure that the team succeeds and win, bring it. And at the end of the day, when the trophy is given out, they say, oh, Nigeria are the AFCON champions.
Yeah. Are you worried about Nwabali for our next game?
No, yes, I am. I thought you said you were going to say if I'm worried about him as a goalkeeper. I am very worried about. Yes, I'm very worried, but I don't know how serious. I've not read any updates. Pesero said that in 24, 48 hours they'll have an update or a scan or something like that. And if you notice, when it came off, a lot of people were like, "Don't bring Uzoho. Why is he warming up? Go and sit down." Also, you'd like to, you know, to think that would be a test of the defense. How resolute is that defense?
Really? Because
a lot of people also argue that Nwabali has not had a lot to do because the defense has been very impressive. So you do expect that if that defense holds up, as we say, if it's a solid defense, then maybe Uzoho will not face all this long range shot or these tricky crosses that, you know, has always been like his weak spot over the years. And then maybe you can have Nwabali available for a potential semi-final.
You guys are already going there. And that's what...
Nigeria makes you dream. Nigeria makes you dream. You can't help it.
And I've been seeing a lot of that on social media. I've seen a few vlogs and, you know, TikToks talking about how we're taking the cup, And I keep going back to 1998 at the World Cup when we did that with Denmark and we got hammered 4-1. And even the last Nations Cup, we got 9 points in the group stage. Everybody thought it was a done deal. Tunisia hammered us in the round of 16, you know. Are we getting ahead of ourselves, do you think?
Yes, we are, and we're allowed to. But the reality of it is that...
Because Angola has...
this is African football.
They've scored 4 in a match, they've scored 3 in a match.
This is African football, not necessarily with Angola. We've seen how many big names have gone and we've seen how many shock results we have in the tournament. So it will be very foolish of us to dismiss Angola. But we are going to go there confident based on what we've been able to do and how much we've grown in the tournament. You know, so it's okay to dream. I mean, at the end of the day, this is why we play the game. This is why we watch the game.
Can we dream cautiously?
Exactly. We have to.
Just very quick final word now. I'm looking at the way Angola plays very fluidly. I don't know if you saw the game yesterday.
I did.
3 beautiful goals.
Exceptional.
Very beautiful goals.
Especially the last goal.
Does our formation hold up against them, you think?
I think Angola will also be scared to face us. That's the truth. Nigeria is, forget everything that's happened to us over the years and what we've not been able to do and achieve. Any team that is playing, even if it's Senegal or Morocco, you don't just think that you're going to come and beat the Super Eagles. So there'll be a mental aspect of them that just like, we're playing the Super Eagles, we saw what Osimhen did, Lookman scored 2 goals and everything. They are beginning to grow into themselves. There's also that fear. So I'm not saying that they are going to. They'll also try, but they'll not come out and play the Super Eagles as if they're playing Namibia. I mean, I'm not trying to make Namibia. I don't know how Namibia got there in the first place. I'm not trying to make them like a but this is the Super Eagles of Nigeria playing.
Prediction?
It would be a narrow win. Maybe 1-0, 2-1. You know, yeah.
Okay, we'll see how correct you are. Thanks a lot for joining us, Ifeke, and Nigerians are still basking in it, but tomorrow is Monday, so we'll get back to our reality. That is Nigeria tomorrow. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll take a break now. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. Don't just stand there teasing me. Now it's time to show and prove. You're welcome back. Let's go now to the economy. Like I said, as much as we celebrate the Super Eagles, reality stares us right in the face. There's a lot going on with the economy, and a lot of Nigerians don't seem to understand what is going on, because we wake up in the morning, we hear, oh, the naira has added another 15 naira. It looks like it's doing 15 naira every day now, heading to 1,005 in a couple of days, if not by tomorrow even. And we don't seem to understand what's going on. But I'm joined now by PoliticsToday, who's a policy analyst. Thanks for being here today.
It's a pleasure.
It's very confusing for a lot of Nigerians. And you hear people say, but for 16 years, they held the naira below 200 naira. Why is it suddenly ballooning? And I'm talking like, you know, the guy on the street who doesn't understand, you know, the economics of it all, and how things just seem to be spiraling. And that word is probably the most apt way to describe what's going on. You know, you wake up every morning, you're not even sure, you know, what news is going to hit you, whether it's with inflation, whether it's with, you know, the value of the naira, whether it's the price of goods. Everything just seems to be going on at the same time. What is going on?
Yeah, you know, for some of us who talk in the public space, there is this thinking that by the ordinary people too, that, I mean, we've been doing this for so many years, we should know what is going on now. But I can tell you that I myself do not know exactly what is going on. We can always hazard a guess and maybe talk about it. But I think one way of saying this is that perhaps our sins have caught up with us. The sense of omission, the sense of commission, the sense of incompetence, the sense of, you know, lack of will by the political leadership, and lack of commitment to the Nigerian state, and lack of patriotism. All of these things, and then of course the passivity again of the Nigerian people in the face of various socioeconomic onslaughts, and their inability to play the kind of role that citizens should play. Because, you know, somebody has said that the price we have to pay for our democracy is, you know, that we have a price to pay for democracy, and that's eternal vigilance. And so we have not also been vigilant over our political office holders, giving them so much trust. And even though this trust has not, they have not exactly acted on this trust, they have not exactly discharged the confidence. I mean, that confidence that we have in them. So, but beyond that, again, is that it's not science. I mean, what's going on? The reality is that the government decided to embark on satiating the interest of the Bretton Woods Institute. They're talking about the World Bank and then the International Monetary, IMF, fund. And so for them, it's all about, for a long time, they kept on telling us that our naira was overvalued and that we needed to devalue, our naira. They also kept on telling us about the fuel subsidy, the need to reduce it, and so many other things. All of these have implications, very severe implications, because you're talking about, oil, fuel, that energy, because you're talking about energy, you cannot do anything without energy. And so when energy becomes as exceedingly, offensively expensive as it is in this country, it will set off a chain reaction. And so this is what we have always seen for a country that does not, provides about, imports almost 90% of what the country needs. Even people will keep on talking about toothpick, even toothpick, we have to import toothpick and matches. And, we used to have all those companies in Nigeria, Niger Match in those days, and so many of them, the sugar companies, we had them. All of them have, collapsed a very long time ago, and nothing was done about it. We discovered oil, and wow, everybody went crazy. And people forgot the farmlands and so many other. Of course, the industries, the rich sector was to some extent abandoned. And so these are the prices we are paying. But essentially what is going on is that it is driven by people who believe that the new economic policies of Western capitalist countries is the way to go. Liberalize everything, just and then devalue your currency and then allow market forces to determine a lot of things. No serious government does that, because even they themselves do not do that. The French government subsidizes the steel industry to prevent it from collapse. The Americans subsidize heavily food production in the United States. In Britain, it is the same thing. In the Scandinavian countries, it is their dairy products and all that. So they make sure that they protect, certain vital industries within their countries, and then they tell us that we have no business, subsidizing. Look, right now, the European Union is up in arms with the Chinese over the electric vehicles, the EVs, electric vehicles, because it would appear that the Chinese are having an upper hand, and they are becoming quite formidable when it comes to production of electric vehicles. And so they are saying no, the reason why that is happening is because of state subsidies, because the government is subsidizing, and so they are up in arms that you cannot, do this. So these are some of the issues. But like I said, there is no serious government that would allow its economy and its currency to just float like that without any form of protection. So if you are looking at what is going on today, look, somebody over about a year ago, somebody told me, like, the way things are going in this country, Naira would one day get to 1,000 to the dollar, and it sounded outrageous. It sounded obscenely outrageous. That it can never happen. And I berated the person. I said, no, but that's going too far. Now it's going to 1.5. And so if anybody tells you it's going to get to 2,000, do not doubt it, because the people who are managing the economy seem not to know what to do. So I think we've gotten to the level of, beyond policies here and there. The next 3 months, in the next 2 months, we are going to see something wonderful and the rest. I think they have become like alchemists. They are now trying different brews to see whether any of them is going to come out successful. Do
you not have faith in the CBN governor? Because he did say, he gave assurances, I think, sometime last week in his address to the NESG, saying that, he was going to, I think inflation was going to get down to, I think he said 23 or 22%, and, the Naira was going to get back to its actual value because he felt that it was now undervalued. I mean, he didn't give a lot of the hows, but he gave us these assurances.
I do not have faith in the elites. I do not. Because, I think it was Ibrahim Babangida that first said, as a military dictator, that said that the problem in Nigeria is with the elites. Abacha had cause, another dictator, to re-echo the same sentiment that the elites were also the cause. And then we also saw Konjo Iweala say the same thing too while she was in government, that the elites, there is something they know that some of us do not know. But the reality is that the elites have been at the bane of problems in this country. You're talking about the political elite, you're talking about non-state actors who are also elites. All of these people have been in conspiracy for a very long time, to deprive the country of much needed growth. So it's one thing, they say the sweetness of the pudding is in the testing. So it's not about what you tell us, it's about what you see. He can tell us, and they've always told us, don't forget, that they have always told us good things about ourselves. They have always told us good things about government and their government when they come to power. In the past 8 years of the last administration, they told us again what they are going to do with the economy, with insecurity, with corruption and the rest. This government has come and told us the same thing. The government before those governments, the PDP, they also told us the same thing. But what have we always seen? We have always seen a completely different thing. And that's why people would make the argument that every succeeding government would seem to be worse than the previous government. By implication, what that means, if it is true, and I think it is true, is that the country gets worse with each succeeding government, if that is the case. So and these things I'm saying are verifiable. Look at 2015, before the government took over. The indices, economic indices, social indices, you look at them, is it the exchange rate, is it the prices of a basic foodstuff like a bag of rice and the rest and all that. Then what happened in the 8 years that followed? The level of debt from $12 billion to $45 billion and so on, and it is still growing. So these are some of these. So we don't make statements for the sake of making statements. Everything we say is on the basis, is said on the basis of what we see, indicators, verifiable, evidence about. We want to believe, again, let me put it this way. Nigerians generally want to believe in their political leadership. It's in their interest to believe in them. Nigerians don't just wake up and wish them bad luck. Because the implication of wishing your leaders bad luck, if the bad luck sticks, is that things will be worse for you. But when they succeed, you're going to derive benefits from their success. Everybody succeeds. So you have to pray for them, you have to work hard, and that so that they would succeed. But what we have seen ultimately at the end of the day is that the people that you're wishing to do well do not even have the intention of doing well, if it is with regards to the common good. But of course, they will work well. They will try and do well if it is about satiating primordial, parochial, personal interest. They are very good at that, and they succeed in that very handsomely.
You mentioned non-state actors earlier, and it's something I want to segue into, the insecurity conversation. That's it's always been scary. But there seems to be some sort of brazenness that has been awakened again. In the federal capital, Plateau State is burning, almost on a daily basis now. And then various parts of the country. And for a lot of people, it was quite heavy to see that in all of this, Mr. President went to France on what they called a private visit, without any explanation as to what that meant, without he even addressing any of these issues, and just upped and left. And we saw him on social media yesterday watching the Nigeria game as well, like the rest of us, And, it's this body language we've always heard. Yeah. Let's even leave the action first. The body language, I think, tells a lot, right? Yeah. And with what's happening across the country and just how daring, the insurgents, bandits, terrorists, whatever name you want to call them, have become. What does the year look like?
Yeah, it's ominous. Unfortunately, it's a new year, and then a new year, new beginnings, new hope that things are going to be better, because we dare not want to believe that things will get worse, because we know how bad it has been. We know how bad it was. The last year was a horrible year for a lot of people, with so many ways, so many, we're talking about the economic front. The average Nigerian citizen is finding things difficult to carry out with normal, day-to-day living, paying rent, for his house, children's school fees, even feeding has become a very big burden, all of that. And then again, in the mix, you talk about the insecurity, that is going on in the country, and then the body language of political actors, especially those who matter most. In this case, the person who matters more than any other person, the president, like you said, he's gone on a private visit. If he had told us that he was going on a medical visit, we would say, well, there's nothing he can do. It's unfortunate that our medical facilities are not working, but do you expect him to stay here where there are no working medical facilities and not look after himself? Then we will say, okay, fine, he's gone to, but since it's on a private visit, then there's really no basis, for us not to complain, especially with what is happening in the country, the insecurity that we are facing, and the fact that these people have become more brazen, like you have said. Well, it just brings to mind a saying that a friend of mine is wont, or repeats all the time, that the more things seem to change, the more they remain the same. It is the same thing with Nigeria, because you're talking about body language, for instance. In the midst of the crisis, in the midst of the insecurity, one of the things that characterized the last president was the fact that maybe there will be an attack in Ilorin, Kwara State, and then maybe 45 soldiers or troops are killed. The following day, the president takes off. He's going to one international conference or the other. Then you have the Kuje prison break where people are killed and all that. The following day, the president is on his way somewhere else. And people are saying, look, they couldn't understand that. And then so we also have this situation, for instance, where you had that, was it the Jos attack? Over 150 people were killed. The president was in Plateau State, was in Imo State for the inauguration of the second term tenure of the governor of Imo State. So you put it side by side and you say exactly what is going on. The reality, and that is, like you said, the body language, because people are seeing this, people are watching, and people are drawing their own conclusions that these people don't care. And it's sad to say this. It's sad to say this because we remember that the French, is it David Cameron, went back home to England when a policeman was stabbed to death. You know, he was on a bilateral visit to France, a business visit, an economic visit. You know, and then he heard that one policeman had been stabbed to death. He left, came back, went back to England, to United Kingdom. That's how you know leadership. That's how you know commitment. You know, once 60 people are killed, the president is, I mean, an inauguration can go on without him. But nobody told him that, oh God, this is not the best time for this kind of, because of the message we're sending that people are watching, you know. So, and nobody told him that, or if they told him that, he wasn't really interested. But that is worrisome. The brazenness of the kidnappers or the insurgents stems from the fact that when you commit a crime and you get away with it, the heart will be filled with rebellion. You want to do it again, you want to commit that crime again, because there is no punishment, you know, so impunity sets in. And that's exactly what is. They become emboldened. And you see, this issue, and my biggest fear, and my biggest worry, is not just in the success of their brazen attacks, but in the fact that after these attacks, after committing these heinous crimes, we fund them. We fund them with the money, you know, you give them for ransom. It's funding. They're going to get more dangerous weapons. They're going to get more bullets. They're going to recruit more personnel. They're going to become more deadly. You know, so while our security, we are struggling to finance our security forces, pay their emoluments, pay their salaries. Sometimes, of course, you see that some of them are complaining. You are funding terrorists who are succeeding in heinous acts against the Nigerian people and against the Nigerian state. That's what is responsible for the brazenness.
In one sentence, because we are really out of time, is there anything that's exciting about this year to look forward to for Nigeria, besides the Super Eagles?
No, well, I wanted to go there. It's like you felt, because I know that was the previous discussion that you were having. I don't know, but I think, you know, we've been living on hope. We've been living on hope for so long, so I think we should just continue to live on hope and hope that something can get better. Because when you look at the indices, when you look at so many things, you want to believe, you want to hope for the best, that things are going to, but what is there? Is it prices of goods? Is it so? There's really nothing I can hold on to and say, look, wow, this is going to be a fantastic, you know, period. But let's just hope that the CBN governor has said, well, 23% from, you are quoting him and the rest. But we are tired of listening to this and seeing, you know, them not, you know, achieve whatever. But let's hope that hope will keep us true. Let's hope in hope.
Thank you very much. Yeah. That's all Nigerians have. We hoped for too long. And I don't know how much longer this hope can hold for, but hey, they say we're very resilient people. So hopefully that continues to work for us. We're going to take a break now, and we'll be right back. Please stay with us. Don't just stand there teasing me. Now it's time to show and prove. Welcome back. You know, we like to talk a lot about the creative sector on Rubbin Minds here, because it looks like it's the future of, you know, young people and just how content creation has evolved. And I'm joined now today by one of the most popular comedians slash skit makers slash content creators on social media, but he's also a producer. You know him as well, his name is Chukwuemeka Emmanuel Amuzie. I'm sure if you heard that name, you don't know who that is. Chukwuebuka, sorry, Emmanuel Amuzie. Yeah. But you know him as Brainjotter.
Oh.
How's it going?
Very well, my boss.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Where does that name come from? I'm sure you've been asked that a lot.
That's Brainjotter?
Yes.
Brainjotter. Okay, so Brainjotter, first, it didn't come from anywhere special, actually. It's just I was going for a comedy competition and I was looking for a stage name. And then my brother was telling me how he was trying to talk to, there's this joke he used to crack then. If a lady asked him his name, he'll be like, oops, you can't cram it, bring book. So this time he was telling me that he was trying to talk to a girl, and then he was trying to tell the girl, you can't cram it, Brainjotter. So it was so funny to me. What I heard was Brainjotter, so it was just too funny to me then.
Oh.
And I'm like, how you tell I'm Brainjotter? I say, no, I say Brainjotter. And I'm like, oh, okay. But that name Brainjotter go mad for stage name. I say, yeah. That was how I chose it. Yeah.
So you went on that show and your name was Brainjotter. When was this show?
Yeah, that was like 2013.
Where? In Surulere.
Futa. It's like it's one program called Club Daniels. So it's just for upcoming comedians, like an open mic generally.
Okay.
So it's a competition. Then it's a church stuff, sure.
So you always wanted to be a comedian, is what I'm getting.
Exactly.
When did you decide that? Was that something that made you feel like, okay, this is what I want to pursue?
Yeah, first it's just something. Okay, you know this situation whereby you are the funniest in your house, right? So when you're cracking jokes in your house, funny, and then you go out and then somebody's cracking a joke and you feel like I can do better than if I talk that to me, I talk for house, these people go laugh. So make I go try them. Then you try and they laugh. So for that reason, yeah, let's say from my secondary school, I've always wanted to do stand-up comedy. Yes. Not what I'm doing now. Yeah, just stand-up comedy. Yeah, so from there.
So did you do stand-up comedy for how long?
I did stand-up. I'm still doing stand-up comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did stand-up comedy before content creation. I did stand-up comedy till 2019.
Okay, how was that? Because I find that it's a tough industry looking from the outside, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those industries where it feels like it's very hard to crack into sort of the mainstream.
Oh, okay, that's very correct.
A lot of the names we've been hearing for the last 15 years are still the names we're hearing. As against like music or movies, acting or presenting. With comedy, it seems like it's... Why is that?
With comedy, I think in order to be seen, there are two things involved. Is either you're very funny, like very funny, that kind of content where people watch and they want to share. Not like the random comedy, right? It's either you're that or you have money to organize shows, call the media team.
And just being people's faces.
Being people's faces, yeah. So I think it's just those two. And a lot of upcomings, we have a lot of comedians that are funny.
Yeah.
So it takes the grace of God to get a person that is very funny that you remember, that guy. Sometimes you remember jokes and you don't remember who said the jokes. You get me? So some people remember the jokes and they don't remember who said those jokes. So, so it's quite hard. Stand-up comedy is quite difficult if you don't have visibility, because you need so much money to create visibility for that.
Was that why you decided to pivot into...
No, I actually didn't decide. I just found myself here.
How?
Yeah, I think it was...
You said 2019?
Yeah, 2019. Okay, I was working in a laundry, and most of the times I was at the reception or at the back. So I had an Android phone, so sometimes I just make skits for laughs for myself. You get me, and my WhatsApp people, my family people on WhatsApp. So I just found it interesting. I just enjoy myself. So it's not really, I'm trying to pursue my dream as a content creator. No, I was just trying to create content, enjoy myself, That's it. So, when you create this content, you post it on Instagram, and you just wake up one morning and everybody's sharing it, and you're like, and then you see 200 comments. You're like,
what's going on?
What's going? You get what I'm saying? So that was actually just what started the whole thing. But I'm very certain I didn't wake up one morning and say, no, I want to choose this guy. No.
Do you like being called a content creator or a skit maker? Or it doesn't matter to you?
No, I would rather prefer you call me a content creator because that covers a lot of things. You get me, boss? No, I think I'm being restricted, called a skit maker. You get? Because right now we're producing movies, and movies are not skits. You get me? So that means you're gonna call me a skit maker and a producer and this. So, but content creation, movies are still content. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I think it covers a lot of things. Yeah, so I prefer being called a content creator.
You guys seem to be doing very great work, in the content creation space. I look at a lot of the other arms of entertainment, right? With music, people are doing great, but you find that there's a lot of beef. Yeah. Whether with the ones we will know, the ones we will not know.
Correct.
In Nollywood, you also see it even actors versus actress, actor, in comedy, stand-up comedy, we've seen all of these stories and stuff.
That's correct.
Is that happening in that content creation space, or it's still too new that the beef is still not in our faces yet?
No.
How are you guys so united?
So basically, if you watch, there was a time we did the African Creators Summit, and you just see everybody hugging everybody. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's, I think the most, for now, for me, this is my verdict, I feel like content creators are the most united ones because everybody is independent. You get what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily need a Nas boy to create my content. You get what I'm saying? So it's more like an independent space where the sky is so big for everybody. And instead of me, if you do something and I feel like, oh, I want to learn this thing, I come to you, Alpha. You get what I'm saying? So I think we just found ourselves being united, and it's one great thing I commend about us.
But in spite of that as well, I think you guys are also getting a lot of getting called out a lot. You know, about maybe more skit makers now, which you are kind of a part of. You get called out a lot these days about, you know, how you guys are making so much money. You know, it's like every 2 days we wake up, someone is posting a new G-Wagon or is standing in front of your house. The hand is always spread like this. Showing the duplex at the back.
I go bend down.
We'll capture on God did. You know, and like, but this person, don't be.
Which day is that?
October, you first start to post.
Don't be lying.
You know, and that reputation continues to hang over the fact that people use this to mask other things that they're doing. I'm not saying you do it, but is there not some truth to that?
You know, I feel like it's all glaring. You would see everything. So if you are probably you have a YouTube channel that has 1 million views, right? Automatically, I think you should be considered a millionaire, even if it's just 1 millionaire. Because if you ask me, where did you get this 1 million? Come on, man, look at the views. Yeah. So it's glaring. So if you see a creator and probably it's not, the story not clear, or you can't, then I think that particular creator should be questioned, because we do a lot of work. You get me? You know what it means posting videos every day. You get what I'm saying? It's literally, we post at least twice a week. So that means we're thinking every day. So you know, I think people don't really see the work. But when this person is probably shooting back to back, and then they post, probably they get a car in the next 6 months, people are like, come on, this is so quick. But this person has been shooting back to back, do you understand, for 6 months. So I think, to an extent, it's if a Kirikou gets a car, I shouldn't say, come on, where did he get the money? Because
now, those are big names, right?
Oh, okay.
But if someone, I mean...
Yeah, and I think it should be, it's an individual something. So if this guy just joins comedy now, I can tell you if this guy is making money from content creation.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? There is no magic.
Have you seen that though?
Well, I've seen some couple of guys.
But
some of
like,
them, I'm like, how?
It doesn't really add up.
Yeah. You could see these guys and you're like, if they say, if I ask you, okay, what do you do? And you say you're a content creator, and I'm like, and you're like, that's it. I go say, nah, lie.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Except you say, well, I'm a content creator as well as a Forex trader. They'll be like, oh, okay, not Forex. But when I ask you, okay, what do you do? And you say you're a content creator, and I check, you get me, and you're just on Instagram, and I check you've not like run any adverts for any brand or stuff like that. That's story not clear. Yeah, and you're building a house in phase 1. Come on. Come on, man, the story not clear. Yeah.
Is content creation, do you think it's sustainable? Do you think it's here to stay? Because the world is changing so quickly, right?
Yeah.
You know, TikTok is here today, Instagram was yesterday, tomorrow we don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yes, there will always be that space, you know, but is content creation, do you think it's at a point where you believe
I'm glad you didn't say is skit making here to stay. Content creation is here forever. You get me? Because I just feel content creation is here because content creation is wide. You get me? Like, I could just wake up and produce a movie. I could wake up and sing a song, right? I could wake up and every brand needs visibility. So I feel like, and they need content creation to, you know, even on TV, even whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like content creation is here for life.
Yeah.
But I don't know about skit making.
Yeah.
Do you understand the difference?
Yeah.
But for content creation, I'm very sure it's going to be here for like a very long time.
Something that your colleagues get called out a lot about as well is this cross-dressing. What do you think about it? You know, people say, why do you have to
wear something else?
Dress like a woman to be funny? Do you see the point in that?
Very well. I see. So basically, you know, everybody's, you know, like a Brainjotter is wearing a green.
Yes.
Brainjotter wear green, mad. As you wear that green, at that time you blow. Sabine,
so I need to find.
So I need to find this thing. And then I have a friend that is saying, it's a bit like woman, wear woman clothes, you know. So to me, I've tried it. There was a time I was creating content. There was a time I was creating content, character Madam Mogadi in a church, and they were applauding me like, ha, funny guy, you did do am well. So it got to my head, and it was almost a niche for me, right? So now I know better, and I'm like, that stuff is not sustainable for myself, and I just don't buy the idea because it won't last. You get what I'm saying? It won't last. People might enjoy it once or twice, but you're not a human.
Yeah.
So more or less except you're doing it exceptionally well. Just like probably, let's say for example, Tyler Perry and Madie. There's a character he has Madie, and people are like Madie. So you have to get to that level where, bro, people can't even tell. But you can't be wearing a woman's clothes with beards and stuff. I mean, come on, man.
Where did your green outfit come from? And how many do you have?
I have 5.
Is it this one that this boy has been watching and wearing? It can't be one. But what did it come to you in a moment?
It was one for a year. It's always not strategic. So that's the thing. It's always not planned. If you ask Sabinus, it's always not planned. If you ask everybody, Taoma, everybody that are using a costume, it's always not planned. Sometimes the green, what happened was I used the green to create a content, and then it went viral, but I wasn't tagged. Like, people don't know this guy's name. They just, crazy. So now, how do I create another content and be recognized?
As that guy.
Do you understand? As that guy that went viral before, and I'm like, okay, let me try this green again. And then I tried the green again, and it went viral again, and I still was not tagged. So it's like a one WhatsApp TV that was like putting it and taking off my watermark, and then he's putting his own. So I used the green again. So they started getting familiar with the green. So that way my watermark was now moving on the screen. Like, my watermark was just everywhere. So
you use the eraser for sure.
So you can't remove. So that was the idea behind using that green.
Okay. So
as I saw that it was working, that was how I followed suit. So that's the advice I give to a lot of creators, that you don't necessarily need to start. I think the niche should be the character. Do you get what I'm saying? The niche should be focused on character and not costume. Yeah. So this guy starts by putting brush on the neck, toothbrush boy, big spoon girl, this cucumber boy. The niche should be on the character and not on the props and costume. Yeah.
Where do you make your money from? Do you make your money from YouTube or from brands who endorse you?
So basically, it varies. Sometimes, some years, or sometimes, okay, let's say in a month, you can make more money from brands. Some other months, you could, but YouTube is where I know this is my salary.
It's constant.
Yeah.
How regular are the brands? On an average in a month, how many brands would you say you work with?
Well, at least 2 in a month.
We're trying to measure your money for you.
At least 2.
Yeah.
At least 2. So I'm not very, so some brands might come this month and I'll tell you I can't post this month, I have to post next month. Yeah, because you can't keep bombarding people with adverts and stuff. Yeah, so at least 1 or 2 adverts in a month.
So you shoot every day? How often do you post content?
I wish I shoot every day.
How often do you post content?
At least
on
once,
an average?
At least, maybe I'm backsliding once in a week.
Okay.
Let's say I'm backsliding once in a week. But on an average, twice or thrice in a week.
Okay.
Yeah, so I might post a content on Instagram and not post it on YouTube. I might post on YouTube and not post on Instagram and Facebook. So, but I will post somewhere at least 2 or 3 times in a week. Yeah, that's it.
Is there a plan to evolve? Because now your guy Nasboy has done music. Nollywood music. What's 2024 is just starting?
We are shooting a Netflix movie in March.
Okay.
We've been making movies. I've been going back and forth from here to Asaba to Abuja, to make long form content in form of movies. My movie is on African magic, right? So so
you're selling out on content creation. You're moving to full on.
So that's the thing. So the people I look up to are people that do these things.
Yes.
You get. They don't just. I'm not that guy that just sit and say, I'll be content creator. Now Instagram, I die put. No.
So definitely, production is a big part of your plans.
Yeah,
for
production. I'm just not this. I'm that guy that evolves.
Yeah. Are you going to do music like okay?
I've done music. Stop. I've done music.
I know.
Yes, I know. The next thing is football.
Maybe we need people to come and score for us. So you will help us go and score against Angola. Well, thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
We're very, very, I see a lot of your content. I'm very proud of you. You are my namesake. So it's a sign that you are going to succeed in life in Jesus' name. And I wish you all the very best. Brainjotter. You can find him on social media. What's your handle?
Brainjotter everywhere. Brainjotter on Instagram. Brainjotter on Facebook. Brainjotter Comedian on YouTube. Brainjotter on TikTok. Brainjotter everywhere.
Okay, look out for him on TV as well.
Brainjotter
Productions. And maybe an album is dropping this year on EP, we don't know. But thanks for joining us. Like I always say, you can follow the conversation on social media. Please use the hashtag Rubbin Minds when you send us a message. I'll see you next Sunday.